that's what everyone thought Canton was going to be. Hyped up token. There's no way it's going to sustain itself. It's going to definitely dump. And it hasn't.
People happily take some real money for some real magic internet money, right? Like, what am I going to do with this coin that doesn't even have a price?
And validators come into networks typically farming. Every major financial institution and stock exchange is routing towards Canton. They're going to be tokenizing $100 trillion worth of assets via Canton. But people are really like doing themselves a disservice not to learn about what is going on here.
So super happy to have you here, Heslin. We had the pleasure to meet a little while ago. Mani connected us, right? We had a couple calls. Now we're in Paris. Bumped into each other.
Beautiful proof of talk. It's been a fantastic conference so far.
Yeah, the conference
definitely
is
coming
amazing.
back next year.
Yeah, and ever since Mani introduced us, like I've been seeing Zenith everywhere, and I learned a lot about it. And I think what you're doing is super great. So we're getting into that. But before we go into this, I would love to learn about your story. Like, we were talking about you being a model in Korea before.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go that far back. But tell us, like, how did you get into crypto? What did you do before? Like, what's your journey?
You can Google Heslin Kim and find all kinds of interesting. None of it's
underwear pictures.
Underwear pictures. I was a men's physique athlete.
No way.
Top performer in Korea. I was Under Armour sponsored model. I did commercials and. It's like, and then it's interspersed with me in suits on stage speaking at some conference. And like ridiculous.
Multifaceted.
It's very interesting. I'm American originally, East Coast US, and I moved to Korea 2010. I was working, originally I moved there I teach English. So I'm half Korean. Immediately after university, I went there. I wanted to travel, did the teaching thing.
You actually did it?
I did it for a year,
So
kindergarten
nice.
Kids. It was such a beautiful experience and
it's
really
like the
good.
most American thing to do. Like if you have like let me go somewhere and teach English, you know? That's cool.
It was, and it was good parental practice, so I'm happy I did it. But that led me into, interesting enough, like consulting. And how I got there was I started doing different levels of English. So it was originally kindergarten, then it was elementary school, then it was middle school, high school, then university. Then I started doing like graduate programs. In the graduate programs, you've got all these guys who are executives from different large enterprise who are then trying to apply for different grad schools. So then it started becoming me helping them with their grad school applications. On top of that, they're telling me about business and work and like what they're doing daily life. And then I got picked up by like LGU Plus to do global marketing and business campaigns with them.
What's LGU Plus?
It's one of the biggest telcos in Korea.
Is it like the LG, like the TV brand?
Yeah, LG. Okay. Yeah, and they've got a telco brand as well. And then I just started doing consulting for large enterprise. It was like such a...
What year was that?
This is 2010 to 2015. Same time, I had a friend who was also formerly an English teacher, joined EY, was there for 4 or 5 years, and then just entirely bailed. One day we were like, hey, do you want to come out on the weekend, get some drinks? And he's like, no, sorry, I actually, I'm studying coding right now. And we're like, you're doing that on the weekend? Like, do that during the weekday. Come out. He just totally turned down everything. And he disappeared for a year and a half. This is like 2014, 2015. And he's like, I'm studying Bitcoin. And I'm like, oh God, Bitcoin, okay. I've known about Bitcoin.
2015, huh?
2015. I've known about Bitcoin since 2012. All the interactions I had with it in those earliest days were not the right kinds. It was like people I knew who were doing sports betting, online gambling, Silk Road kind of stuff. And I was like, what are you doing, man? Why are you committing your life to this? This is not a good move. But I was like, okay. And then he disappeared. In early 2015, late 2015, he ended up raising $3.5 million for his startup. And then he came to me and he's like, hey, long time no talk. I was wondering if you want a job. You've been doing and working with all these international businesses, helping without growth marketing and BD consulting. do you want to come be CBDO for my crypto company? And I was like, no, not really. Everything I knew about crypto 2015 was just, illicit activity. So
of course,
I don't want to go that direction.
It was even pre like altcoin season. Like a lot of people joined 2017, right?
There
was like nothing.
There were like random altcoins, like colored coin
like
and
green
forest coin. All these things that just are entirely gone now. But
of course.
Excuse me. The interesting thing was that he was like, hey, you need to come to this Bitcoin Center Korea and learn about Bitcoin. I promise it's legit. There's institutions involved now. We're making a big move. Yeah, this is 2015.
Crazy.
It's not what you think it is. Just come one day with me. So I went to this Bitcoin Center Seoul, which was a fantastic local community. It was all developers and engineers and some guys who had bought in crazy early, like 2010s, 11, like when Bitcoin was like $1 and sub-dollar range.
Crazy.
There was guys there in that era.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm too late. This Bitcoin's already at like $250, and it already collapsed from like 1,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is, it went from cents and pennies to $1,000. I am way too late for this.
Yeah.
When I was there, the guys that I met were like, they convinced me that Bitcoin was being adopted at scale, that it was going to be a next, not store of value. That narrative didn't exist. It was a means of payment. And that got me interested. So I took the job. I ended up working in a dev shop in Korea for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I was the only BD guy. And that company was called Proof Suite, and they were building out a Bloomberg terminal for crypto, on-chain analytics, chain forensics, and then data
like
Arkham, like a Messari, Manson, Arkham. It was just way too early. We had around like 150 clients, mostly trading firms. But there wasn't even Ethereum activity going on at the time. It was just Bitcoin.
Was it already, did the ICO already happen, the Ethereum one? At the time, or was it like shortly after?
ICO happened October 2014, I think.
Already 14? I thought 15, okay.
So, but it was still like so early days for Ethereum that it wasn't really, it didn't like pop off immediately, right? It's probably still at like $5 to $10 or something like that. Yeah, things just scaled from there. So like, how did I get here to Zenith? Basically, that put me into a career in crypto.
Yep.
I was working with them. I was working with event organizers. I helped do the first KBW.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Friends with the Fact Block guys, and like.
And Korea is crazy for crypto, right?
And it wasn't at the time until 2017. So 2017 kicks off. You got the Kimchi Premium, massive run-up days.
Yep.
And I got lucky because I was doing all kinds of advisory work and again, like consulting angle. And helping Western companies move into APAC and get APAC distribution.
Yep.
Specifically Korea, when the run-up happened in Korea, everyone wanted access to Korea.
Of course.
So we had a company called Blockchain Rock, ROK, Republic of Korea back then.
Yeah.
We supported events, we did consulting, advisory, like, the typical
I remember it was like
side
this,
gigs.
like the 2017 altcoin bubble. This was like a narrative, like, okay, this is a Korean project. Like this had like
it was little maybe Icon
halo effect. Yeah, exactly, Icon. That was the thing.
That was a good ICO.
A friend of mine, I think he put like 10 grand in Icon ICO.
Yeah.
He made like 2 million or something.
Yeah.
And I was in school back then. He was like a friend. We were like both 17, right? And he was like 17-year-old kid, 2 million bucks. He lost it all. But that was crazy. Yeah, Korean crypto was insane.
It was probably one of the most fun times in crypto too,
100%.
because it was so nascent. Everyone was new to what it was.
Yeah.
There was no
one had any idea.
Even the people in the industry were new to what was going on, right? So everything is being created as you go.
Yeah.
The semantics, like how people are naming things. It was all just La La Land, like fantasy, like, and how somehow money is just like
it was
appearing.
magic internet money.
It was literally magic internet money at the time. And I got put on to some company called Polymath that was doing their ICO, and they were like, hey, we want to get access to Asia.
Yep.
So I helped them do their APAC tour. We did like pretty solid, like 13 million or so out of their 59 mil Reg D. And I joined Polymath as VP of BD and led APAC, MENA growth strategies. So fast forward 9 years later, Polymath was doing ERC 1400. It's the first tokenization standard on Ethereum. It was co-authored by Fabian Vogelsteller, who co-authored ERC 20. It was the initial impetus of tokenization.
What year was that?
2017.
It's still 2017. That was like
it was like Q4 2017.
Were we already calling it STOs back then?
And in Polymath, we called it STOs.
You did it. Huh?
We branded STOs.
Yeah.
Security token offerings.
Yeah.
So then you had multiple iterations of that over the years. It went STOs, it went tokenized assets, digital assets, whatever iterative thing between. Then we came out with RWAs, real world assets, which I think is still a terrible name, and
I don't like it
we'll
either.
Get by that. I think it's just a phase right now.
Yeah, I think digital assets is like...
Digital assets has always been solid, and then on-chain assets probably makes more sense like for the broader holistic idea of what tokenization means.
Yeah.
Because then tokenization gets conflated now with AI tokens and things like that.
A little bit, yeah, exactly. Like
the broader markets, it's
when I hear institutions talk, they always talk about digital assets.
And for a long time, they were saying securitizing things, but now you have this definitive lane about what's a security, what's a commodity.
No one wants to be associated with securities. Like, you know, everyone has like still a little trauma from the SEC days.
So I got lucky. I mean, I fell into this institutional,
super early.
It was very binary back then. It was institutionalization and use of blockchain, and then it was crypto. And they used to say DLT, not blockchain. And then it became more like blockchain, not crypto. And then it became more like Web3, not crypto. And like all kinds of iterative instances of how it got to this phase. But I got lucky because, and so I did Polymath and I did Tokeny Solutions, ERC 3643. It's now used by DTCC and NASDAQ, and Apex Group acquired those guys. They just announced that they're going to be doing 100 billion in tokenized assets by June 2027. They're,
That's Token Y?
Token Y, Tokeny Solutions.
Okay.
Now Apex Group, digital assets.
Okay.
And they crushed it. They've done a fantastic job. Amazing team. I love those people. They still reach out to me on my birthdays.
Nice.
I'd say like happy birthday, like 6 years, 7 years later after working with them. So it's a good
relationship.
Good, wholesome company. Which you don't find in crypto very often. Then I went to Republic after that. As head of growth and ecosystem, and then I came across this company, Zenith. And Zenith was originally a company called Gevulot that then became ZK Cloud, that is now Zenith. And the initial impetus for Gevulot was building out ZK optimized GPU clusters under the Ethereum foundations, real-time proving initiatives to bring down proving sub 12 seconds to meet Ethereum block times so that they could pivot off of general consensus on all of the validators and then do ZK execution to scale into Ethereum 2.0.
What a sexy pitch that is, huh?
Yeah, it was good back then. 10.3 million closed. Gevulot.
Yeah, I saw that. Crazy.
In within about a 5-month spread. So seed round, strategic round, boom.
Yeah. Were you already involved there, or did you come on later?
So I was the first investor, and I was advising a little bit while I was at Republic. And then I joined full time. After the capital came in, and things were coasting, and it looked like ZK was really going to take off.
That was like 2022?
This is mid 23.
23, okay.
Into 24. So I joined at the beginning at Q1 24.
When like Starknet did their launch, and ZK Sync.
Pre-Alio, ZK Sync, Scroll, Tycho. Linnea still hadn't launched yet. Polygon was pivoting fully to their ZK stack. Like everything was going ZK. It looked like a fantastic trajectory, and the tech is legit. But what happened was all of them died. All of those L2s died. Not for not having good technical capacity or engineering abilities. It could have been some of the best cryptography that we've ever seen. But it was more so the business practices, the launching of the token, not understanding the dynamics there. Really,
They kind of invented this low float, high FTV thing.
Everyone was playing with that game back then, and it was like such a goofy copy paste model and airdrops. You're mixing low float, high FTV with airdrops. You're giving a massive amount of circulating supply in a market that doesn't have the capacity to soak up that sell pressure.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Like immediately when you do unlocks and in that kind of setup, you're getting crushed. Eventually, teams found out ways to mitigate some of that. They were doing liquidity provision, liquid funds, like liquid injections in the book, and like all kinds of goofy stuff. Either way, it's not a sustainable business model, and that whole industry just died because no one was original. Everyone was doing copy-paste iterations of what the previous one had done. Oh my God, Starkware's $20 billion, so let's copy their exact playbook.
Yeah, they were all valued so high.
Celestia at the time was 20 billion.
Yeah,
Aave was.
What happened to that one?
Celestia. Well, they were a DA, so we like had talks with them sometimes, but they just didn't have any use, I guess, in the end, and they gave away so much free money, and people were up so much that they just, sold down. But it was a pinnacle, idolized. It's probably one of the most idolized project for 2024.
Yeah, right? It was like with Eigenlayer together, right? Everyone was Eigenlayer and the Celestia are going to take everything over.
Eigen at that time was probably the most prolific and like highly respected project
100%
of the time. Everyone's talking about like professor coins and very like deep R&D. Okay, I think it just goes to show you that you can have the best tech, you can have fantastic researchers, best researers in the world. If you don't have a business model and you don't have adoption, it doesn't mean anything. You can have I like this metaphor that's like you can build an F1 car, but if you don't have the proper driver, so same analogy, right? You can build the best tech ever, but if you don't have a proper driver, you're going to drive it into a wall. You're not going to win the race at least, right? You might kill everybody in the interim. And that's basically what all these different L2s and random side projects were. It's giving who not how much, hundreds of millions of dollars to some of these companies and saying, hey, run with it. You've got great tech. You'll figure it out. And the whole tech first initiative was spun out of because of Ethereum and because of like early stage open source. We're way past that now. We're in a business model phase. General purpose is done. We're coming into actual businesses that know demand, that have pipelines, that have clients, that have customers, that have a use case that exists outside of just token go up speculative nature and value, which is, let's fall back on how I came to digital asset and Zenith. It's basically, I've known about digital asset since 2016 or so.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time. Like if you've been involved with Polymesh, for sure you knew them.
I knew them, but I knew them even. I remember when like Blythe Masters, because it was massive news that she had joined this company and was CEO over there and co-founding. And digital asset had a name for themselves. And they came out with the DAML language 6 months or something after the Ethereum white paper. So it was like following up with this tech stack, early initiatives. And then, via Polymath, I knew them through RFQs with all these big institutions. We're talking to global stock exchanges and regulators and basically every FI and enterprise out there. At the time, we were the only ones, right? So it becomes the conduit to a huge amount of inbound. But at the same time, DA was always a part of that conversation. Always. And so tangentially, what we saw over this like last 10 years is that digital asset and the institutional sector that was that DLT range, private permissioned blockchains, they've persisted for a decade now. Web3 persisted for a decade, and we've seen all this basically bullshit, right? The Celestias and Starkwares. Starkware is like not a good example because Eli's a good guy and he's building something legit and he's still building it. But all this other crap out there, all these L2s, all these iterative designs, copy-paste models, just token launches. They made a lot of money. That was the game, but they didn't build anything long-term that's sustainable. Wherein the institutions were continually building. So like we were on this the stage today talking about how pilots have been going on for a decade, but why isn't anything manifesting? But digital asset has basically been there that entire time.
Yeah.
So you look at the Rolodex of Canton and what they've achieved for digital asset, open sourced and released the Canton Network as a co-founding team. So the trust basis that DA had and all of the clients they've had over the last decade have now become Canton clients and Canton Network users, and the accessibility to have access to the global synchronizer, to have composability between all these private permission DLT networks. So when I saw that, I basically reached out to my co-founder at the time and said, listen, all of these ZKL2s have died. There's no future forward for this ZK optimized GPU cluster unless we're working just only inherently underneath the surface of Ethereum Foundation, and like they adopt us, they give us grants for however, a massive window, and we scale with them. So I had offered an optionality for a business pivot that was a ZK Sepolia testnet, only focused on ERC standards for tokenized assets, all the institutional permissioning, compliance standards, literally everything that Canton enables on the front end of this. So this is Q3, Q4, 2024. And then by the time Q1 2025 rolls out, Giannis from 5 North wrote and co-authored a paper with Bernard Elsner, CPO of Digital Asset, a paper called Polyglot. And it was how do you bring EVM and multi-VM systems into Canton Network as a whole, because they only have DAML. DAML's its own native language. It has incredible privacy and security guarantees for institutions, programmability, but it's its own native language. And it's written in Haskell. The only Web3 developers who know Haskell are Cardano developers. So you're going to go vamp the Cardano ecosystem for Web3. So our thesis was, okay, that ZK Sepolia institutional testnet actually is a great idea and very much needed by Ethereum Foundation to create a basis for these pilots, which take 5 years to actual implementation anyway. So that would put them into ETH 2.0 2030 range. That's, aside. That should be funded regardless as a public good. But Zenith is not a business model. So again, I focus on business. Where is business? Where is demand? I pivoted, gave a lot. Then we changed it to ZK Cloud for a year. Now ZK Cloud became Zenith. So the initial funding, iterative, implementations of what we worked on, all the investor base, our cap table, everybody's come with us on this journey. And we basically looked at that Polyglot paper and said, we're going to build that.
Cool.
It was funny because an anecdote, right after we got off the stage, on the stage, I thanked Giannis for writing that paper because that was a catalyst for us to pivot into
right
this.
here?
Yeah, proof of talk at the panel we did earlier today. You can clip it out and add it to the
That's so cool.
To the podcast. But we stepped off stage and he was like, I had a running bet that there was some people internally that thought that's impossible. Like that's a great idea. We've been trying it and thinking about it for years, but it's not feasible in any way. And so we had a bet on it. And we also heard from people internally at Digital Asset after we released our testnet implementation in March of 26, earlier this year, that they didn't think it was possible. And they were like, wow, if we knew this was feasible, we would have done it ourselves, right? But we found perfect PMF, which is basically the EVM and SVM, not as much, but EVM is the main cornered demand, was the gateway drug for Web3 participants to come into Canton.
Of course.
It's the ease of deployment. It is the alteration so that you don't have to, lift and shift your code and rewrite, transpile it into DAML in Haskell. The security risks, the unknown unknowns of that translation. And then even just the fact that all we do in the back end, it's Reth, it's bytecode compatible ETH. So you just change the RPC endpoint. So just copy paste your code and now you can come deploy natively into Canton. So for Web3 developers or Web3 existing robust applications, it's like, now I get the best of both worlds. So keep my same stack and I get institutional interface.
I get that. That's interesting. So basically the DA team was thinking about doing something similar that you guys are doing now, but they thought it was not possible.
So they co-authored a paper. It's out there. It's called Polyglot. It's on the website.
So they're like, okay, these are our thoughts. This is how maybe it could work.
And I think they kind of put it out like RFP, right? So it's like, we hope someone builds this. We don't know how to do it.
Yeah. But like these very cool products in the past have been designed. Like Athena, same thing, right? Arthur Hayes writes this article, like, hey, this could be a cool idea to build a stablecoin around this model. And someone does it, it becomes the most popular product in 2024, right?
Yeah. So we basically just rolled with it. And I got lucky, right? Because I invested into these guys because of the prowess I knew they had on the engineering side. And they would be able to get anything they needed to done. My co-founder, Teemu Päivänen, he's a Finnish guy. He started in crypto in 2011.
Wow.
And he was one of the first, he started the first Bitcoin exchange in Europe that required KYC. He sold that in 2015 during Mt. Gox. Then he became an advisor, board member to teams like Open Zeppelin and Dapper Labs and Double Zero and like all over the place. And then he started this R&D studio called Equilibrium Labs in 2017. And so they've done back-end full stack engineering for Zcash, Aleo, Starkware, Solana Foundation, Protocol Labs, which is IPFS, Ethereum Foundation, like down the list, top protocols, Aleo, like everything on the ZK side as well. So these guys were stacked, right? And I brought this to them and said, listen, the Ethereum angle that we're working on, great initiative. I think, I'm a cypherpunk at heart, but I'm not really seeing directionally like the TAM of turning ZK Cloud into a multi-billion-dollar protocol as a ZK Sepolia testnet for institutions with the ZK on the back end of the GPU clusters. And it took a long time to convince them, hey, Canton is going to be the next big thing. This is Q1 2025. Canton is going to be the next big thing. They have an exact business case. They have the distribution already. They have users. It's users that you will not even fathom. The clients and customers that they have.
You can't go on DeFi Llama and check, right? That's what makes it so different, right?
So you hear about it and you think, like early 2025, oh, these guys are partnered with Goldman. Oh, they're partnered with BNY. Oh, they're partnered with SBI or Mitsui in Japan. Oh, they're partnered with StockGen and these guys. And you're like, oh, it's another one of those press releases.
It's like Ripple, right? Back in 2017.
Or like Facebook, Libra.
Exactly.
Ripple.
I thought the same thing. I was like,
Hedera.
Yeah.
So I wrote it off in 2024. I did. But I was talking to Republic about the Series Z investment they did. And that's when I found out Digital Asset was spinning out Canton. And when I found out the correlation between DA and Canton, I was like, oh my God, okay, this is the real deal. Everything I thought was going to happen.
Because of DA,
Because of DA. And it's because they brought trust, reliability, they brought experience, they brought 10 years of pilots and failures and wins, I
wanted to ask, what did they do for 10 years? Like, because you see, like, it looks like an overnight success, right? Canton looks like, they came last year. Like, for many people in crypto, it's like, when I tell people about Canton, they're like, I never heard about Canton. They're like, go check CoinMarketCap. It's like number 15, right? It's like, how did it get there, right? Because usually they grind themselves up, right? But they just spawned there, right? So, but it's not an overnight success story, right? They've been around for 10 years through DA. So they've been doing pilots, you said, huh?
Yeah, well, pilots and production instances and use cases. So if you look at, when you look at the top 100, I like to flick around and open it every couple of weeks and see,
of course.
Who is that, right? I've never heard of this company. And then a couple of weeks later, like, oh, they're gone. Like, they had their run, 15 minutes of fame, fizzle out. That's what everyone thought Canton was going to be. A lot of like press releases, fluff, hyped up token, fully liquid. There's no way it's going to sustain itself. It's going to definitely dump. And it hasn't. And so the people who are involved are such large players. Canton's only valued at 6 billion FTV right now. But if you imagine that DTCC is coming into its production MVP instance on Canton in July of this year, they have publicly stated alongside the SEC that they're going to be tokenizing 100 trillion with a T dollars worth of assets via Canton as the clearing layer. It might hit other networks, but Canton is the main clearing layer.
I heard something about October as well.
October is the full production instance. This is the MVP in July, and then October is like full go live, 100% maximum gas. So these kind of things have been rolling for. This is not something that people spin up in 3 months, right? This is probably like 6 or 7 years of discussions.
Yeah.
Earliest pilots of hundreds of thousands of coffees, but like the scale I don't think people even realize the scale of DTCC.
No one knows about DTCC. Normal people don't know about DTC.
Normal layman, nobody knows.
No one knows. Like normal people don't know it. Crypto bros, they don't know it. So you tell them the DTCC, they're like, okay, who's that?
Yeah, the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation does 3.7 quadrillion dollars of volume annually. It's the first time I've ever heard the word quadrillion contextualized at all in any like outside of maybe like programming or like data sizes or something.
Yeah, Plasma was running with it. They're like quadrillions, but they actually do quadrillions.
They actually do quadrillion. So that's
3.9.
Almost 4. I think at one time, like maybe 2023, they did like 4.2, 4.5.
Yeah.
Outrageous. Like the scale.
They're the guys.
Is beyond what anyone in crypto can fathom. Crypto markets only hit a total market cap FDV 3.5, 3.8. I don't even think it breached 4. It might have been 4.2 or something.
It's 1,000x.
Yeah, this is the total entirety of Web3, crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything. TVL.
At its peak times 1,000.
At its peak, all-time high as of this podcast.
Yeah.
But so no one understood. So when I knew that digital asset was involved, I was like, and they were spinning out a public permissionless network, I understood that the real game strategically, which is it totally makes sense to me, and I don't think they've really ever talked about this, but if you've got Ethereum, and this is supposed to be the global world computer, and it's the general purpose L1 sandbox for all institutions to come play on, and you've got all of these tokenized money market funds and government bonds and a lot of pilots running on Ethereum. You've got private DLT instances with Hyperledger, Besu, and all these things. But you don't have privacy. You don't have compliance embedded into the protocol, which is what DAML provides as a smart contract language, digital asset modeling language. Digital asset modeling language is purely built for institutions. And over the last decade, every production/pilot instance they've worked on has refined what the digital asset modeling language is based on actual use case of major financial institutions globally, not just the US, but all over the world.
Yeah. They've done a lot of stuff in Asia, right? Japan.
Yeah, a huge amount. Japan is a massive leg up. There's even bigger pilots coming and like literally whatever I can say. There's like literally every major financial institution and stock exchange is routing towards Canton. And so the scale people still can't fathom. So you look at it, you say 6 billion FTV. It's on CoinMarketCap top 18. That's too high. That's too high. And what is this piece of shit I never heard of, this random coin? It's just institutional corpo slop, blah, blah, blah.
No volume.
But people are really like doing themselves a disservice not to learn about what is going on here. And my whole thesis is that it doesn't, Ethereum I think will persist. It's doing a good job. It's been a great sandbox and like empty canvas for trial runs, which is always what it was meant to be. But Canton is the purpose-built solution with a decade of trust and existing partners. And the scale at which they've built the network of the global synchronizer is like unfathomable to us in crypto. That I know that a 6 billion FTV for Canton is a drop in the bucket. This is like an ICO phase right now. People are like lucky to buy it at 6 billion if you ask me. This is not financial advice. 5 before the token was even live. I found out it was liquid. I started sourcing from validators. And then I made that investment and started accumulating as much as I could all the way until probably August of 25, which gave me like a good 4, 5, 6 months playground of just. And it wasn't priced. It was priced on the tie.
Yeah.
But that price was negotiable, and
Yeah.
like you could score some good
And
deals.
people
And
happily take some real money for some real
Yeah.
magic internet money, right? Like, what am I gonna do with this coin that doesn't even have a price?
And validators come into networks typically farming. They don't even know what the new networks are.
Yeah.
They're like, is that a legit network, not a rug? Okay, we're just gonna go throw
Yeah.
and run infrastructure there.
Yeah.
In the off chance that it becomes something big.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was hundreds of those that were in there that didn't quite know what they were dealing
Yeah,
with,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like the broader
Yeah.
industry now.
Was it already public, like the DTCC pilots? and
No,
the
not
talk?
at all.
That was
Nothing.
not.
I put all my conviction into Canton knowing that DA was behind it.
That was it, huh?
That was it.
Wow. Okay.
Because I knew DA's track record.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was like, and they're still around.
yeah,
Okay, a decade in private permission DLT infrastructure is like,
that's long.
it's long and it's not an easy industry.
Yeah.
You're going off of consulting fees, you're going off of the competitive landscape
Yeah,
of
yeah,
just
yeah.
an institution saying, hey, we're going to go do this ourselves.
And you're going through booms and busts, and then people are interested, and then they're not anymore because of whatever reasons, right?
And we saw so many other iterations of these private permission entities and consulting
There were a
groups.
few, yeah.
There were, R3 ended up getting,
Yeah.
I think, acquired by Solana. I'm
Yeah.
not sure like what's
don't
going
know.
on there, but they're like working tangentially with Solana
Yeah.
now. But
So do you think, because one argument I hear from, we speak to institutions as well, like a few people are not 100% sure that it's going to be Canton, but I'm asking them like, okay, who else? Like, who's the alternative to Canton, right? It sounds like right now, I mean, we've gone through, what was it, like Hyperledger, Polymesh, and a few others.
R3 Corda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like now it's Canton. Like who else is in that race? Are there any other people in that race right now?
That's the thing. They're Ethereum. It's Canton or Ethereum. Maybe you could make a pitch for Avalanche. They've got a great setup. The subnet's design is could be curated very well for institutional adoption. It's just not getting that kind of momentum. They've done some stablecoin issuance in Japan. They've got some good deals here and there. ZK Sync is trying to piggyback with their Providiums, and they did a large banking consortia. I don't think they're quite in the race, but I'll give them a green flag for participation.
For trying.
For trophy. Participation trophy. They're good guys. And then no one else. Maybe Stellar and Ripple have their own lane too.
Yeah, Stellar has seen a little comeback a little bit, like in terms of news.
Yeah. And I think that's more like a legacy thing too. They've been around so long.
Yeah.
They have relationships. They have a huge war chest, right?
Yeah.
Huge. Same with Ripple. Maybe infinite. Like they can't go wrong with money in both of those.
That's just because of the ICO phase, and they've had treasury in Bitcoin and ETH and everything.
Since such early days, and they're they're all very comfortably sitting and still building. So
there's a bunch of these projects, right? Like these kind of dinosaur.
like a Cardano kind of
That
thing.
just you can't like. You can't kill them. Like they're like.
And then Charles is pushing midnight, and it's very like Canton antagonistic, and we'll see how that goes.
So there is no real competition besides like Ethereum. I mean, you're seeing like now they're trying to go into these like privacy kind of aspects a little bit. They're talking about it, right?
With Kohaku and all the initiatives with the team with Railgun and Tornado Cash and privacy pools.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think there's a real need.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that Ethereum is doing that.
Yeah.
Do I financially place a bet that Ethereum is going to do that and like scale and garner mass institutional adoption? No. I think Canton is going to do that.
Yeah.
I want Ethereum to succeed for my own personal autonomy and sovereignty and like having the optionality to have my own financial freedom through these environments.
Yeah.
But is that going to make me money? I don't think so.
Yeah.
In the same sense of like Canton as an investment thesis for me makes sense for where I think the industry is headed.
Yeah.
Which is that general purpose L1s, general purpose L2s are done, dead, DOA, and it's basically because there's no real demand for it.
Yeah.
You have tons of empty block space, more than we could ever desire. We've had so many iterations on technical implementations of, higher TPS, lower latency, more, across the board, and whatever other designs people are throwing in. But no one wants it. So who cares if you build it? And why the hell would you fund it with like 50, 100, 250 million dollars to go build some iterative instance of like, this is getting a couple seconds faster. This has more TPS. Totally irrelevant stats that don't matter at the end of the day. What matters is someone wants your product, they're willing to pay for it. In those days, it was, yes, someone wants your product, which is the token, because it's appreciating. And once it's done and the token is not up, I think that's a real, signal for the market. If your token is down 100, like 95%, right? Do you still have adoption? Do you still have users? Do you still have growth in building there? Are you a sustainable business model even without the token? If it's not the case and it's all purely speculative on your token, then your technology, no matter how great it was, is inherently totally invaluable and borderline worthless. And so we're seeing that play out across the entire space. And the reason the Canton thesis is so strong is because even though Canton and DA had their, Canton hasn't yet, but DA had gone through rough patches and gone through ups and downs of market cycles, and institutions, enterprise, conglomerates still needed and wanted that tooling. It was a fundamental piece of digitizing their infrastructure. So it's already proven through a decade of resilience that digital asset and DAML is needed and wanted. And now you're seeing it priced immediately on market when no one knew what the hell it was at 6 billion FTV. And so, again, people think it came out of nowhere, but really they've been justifying their reason and being to even have that valuation for a significant longer period of time.
100%.
DA itself is just priced at their recent Series F at 2 billion FTV with like a 300 million round led by A16Z. Right? I still think that's undervalued for what they're going to be bringing to the table. That's just a good deal in negotiation A16Z got on bringing that price down.
But I get that.
That IPO, whenever they kick that off, it will be very interesting because there's never been an entity that is so well positioned from an equities market perspective and has a token component with a live network that's also in a top position in
they
in
have
crypto.
treasury probably also in CC tokens, DA.
Huge amount.
Probably.
And a lot of it's gone to the Canton Strategic Holdings, the DAT, and I mean, it'll be a very interesting dynamic. I'm waiting for everyone else to copy this playbook in the future. It's going to be like Solana, maybe, has some equity entity where they're like, wait a second, it's not a DAT, right? It's like the labs entity that is equity focused, revenue driven, the for-profit business, not the foundation, the nonprofit. The for-profit business IPOing. I think
Do you think it's going to happen more where like
DA
networks
will be the first, I think, and then everyone's going to be like, wait a second, we can double dip like that, and we can launch we can go do an IPO too. Everyone thought they could do it with the DAT, but DATs don't make sense because there's no real business model behind.
For sure.
Go acquire, do M&A with some biotech company that's failing and whatever on this side. So it'll. Let's mark that.
It will be interesting.
I'm making this call quite early that this will be a trend. Maybe not immediately in the next year or two, but
we gotta clip that.
Might be like a next cycle thing.
We gotta.
That will be
that.
DAT 2.0 is the 4 labs entities going
Interesting.
into that.
We spoke now a lot about DA, DAML. So what you guys are doing is you're bringing EVM to it. Like, why is this needed if DA was speaking with all these institutions for the past 10 years, teaching them DAML, right, doing pilots? Like, who is going to use Zenith? For who are you building this?
So it's a great question because DAML has done such a good and successful job at building everything that they have and that entire empire there. However, again, Web3 existed for a decade outside of this sector, had no even optics or idea perspective of what was going on within the DLT realm, DA owned that realm. That is like their entire, you can't get